it's Dan Veal here once again, and you are watching Bass Gear Magazine. And have we got a surprise in for you today? This is the Spector Euro 4LT. This is a superb instrument, and as usual, I'm going to get up to the headstock end of details and then work down, and we'll look at the rest of the body in detail along with the electronics and some of the sounds it can produce. Up at the headstock then, we have the identifiable Spector logoed headstock with 2 keys aside for this 4-string model. The bass also is available in a 5 as well. I love these tuning keys. These are made by Goto. I'm just going to flip the bass over for you to have a look at those. And they are a closed gear type. And this is going to be great for just making sure that we get no dirt and grime and things like that into the gears. And they're going to give you years and years of solid operation. Speaking of operation, they are so silky smooth and tuning is accurate and an absolute breeze. And whilst I've had this bass delivered just a few days ago, it has been absolutely rock solid. I probably tuned it once, I think, when it came out the box. Okay, whilst we're here, let's have a look at the back of the bass and the neck. We have a 3-piece maple neck here, and it is absolutely stunning. It is skinny like a jazz bass. It is fast, it is smooth, it is narrow. Coming down the back of the bass and switching over to my second cam here, you can see that there's also a neck through. And either side of the neck through portion, we have an older top and bottom, I suppose, or an older body. This is European older. We can also see, obviously, the panel here for the electronics, and there is, we'll talk about this later on, the mid control for the EQ is actually inside the compartment here. And of course we have our compartment for the 9-volt battery, because of course we've got active electronics on board. I'm going to flip the bass over, we'll get back up to the headstock, come down, and then have a look at the body next. Okay, so here we go then, flipping over. Coming down from the nut, which feels like a jazz bass spacing. I'm going to get the measure out later on and put this in the written part of my review, so don't forget to check that out in Bass Gear Magazine as well. As I said, it is super slim, and as I run my fingers down the fretboard, well, I'm expecting an exemplary finish, and Spector does not let me down one little bit. Fretboard is ebony, and as I said, I can't even feel the fret edges. They are perfect, absolutely spot on, and I wouldn't expect anything less. Spector's crown inlays here, very nice, marking off each of our positions up the neck. I like the small detail of the 12th fret, which actually has 2 little pinstripes in the middle. We'll try and get a close-up shot of that and pop that into the video as well. Fretwork, absolutely spot on. No buzzes, no rattles, and the action on this out of the box with no adjustments is super low, just how I like it. As we come down the neck then, check out this body. It is absolutely stunning. I'm just going to move that around so you can see. It is a curved top, and you probably noticed actually whilst we were looking at the back of the bass, it is also a curved back as well. So it sits on my little belly just fine. On the subject of hardware, we talked about the gold tuners. This bridge is a Spector model and it is made of aluminium. So super light, as well as being nice and chunky and really matching the curves of the instrument. You know, a lot of people talk about the tone differences of bridges, but I think we sometimes forget that actually sometimes they've got to look nice as well, haven't they? And sometimes it's kind of important to have that included in the overall aesthetic of the instrument. Moving on to the tones, well, this one is a little bit special and it's custom all the way. Bartolini have provided some custom coils. We have a PJ setup, and I'd like to bring your attention to the fact that we've got a reverse P. Now, I like this a lot. I have a couple of my own basses with a reverse P in them as well. And it kind of gives us that reasonable precision sort of sound, but it's just something a little bit different going on. Call it a modern edge, call it whatever you will, but I like it, and it seems to bring out, to my mind, a little bit extra low end, mid-range in the D and G strings. This bass has got tons and tons of tone, so I think we kind of want to hear it. The P and the J are hooked up to a custom dark glass preamp. Now, this is really interesting because if you have checked out the dark glass preamps, they are of great interest and they do things a little bit differently. And then this preamp is doing things a little bit different again because it is a custom setup. I'm looking at the details on the Spector website, and as I go through each of the controls, I will tell you what's going on there. So let's not mess around, let's hear what's going on. In the introduction, I had a bit of bass boost, a bit of treble boost, and both pickups on full. Controls wise, we have volume and volume, one for each pickup, and then treble and bass. And inside the compartment, I'm not going to take the back off, there is a control for the mid-range as well. So I'm just going to dial in some nice tones that we have available to us without pulling the instrument to pieces. That is obviously for you to try out for yourself and create some really awesome sounds. Okay then, so front pickup on its own, I've left the controls where they are, so they're the same as my introduction. And this is the P style. Let's listen to the J style on its own, something similar. And then both on at the same time. The slap style tones on this bass are nice and pingy. I'm going to boost the bass just a little bit. Let's have a little listen to that. Plenty of sustain as well. I just left that note hanging. Sounds really, really good. Of course, like me, we have pick players amongst us. So this is what the bass sounds like with both pickups on with a plectrum. Now, of course, this is quite a modern instrument, and it'd be nice to know if it can do some more dubby, vintagey sort of sounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the treble back a little bit and play it with my thumb. Even something as simple as turning down the treble control gives the instrument a completely different character. And I like that. I want a bass which is really, really flexible for more than one use, as it were, especially if I'm recording sessions or I'm working with different artists. Now, on the subject of tone, what I find about this instrument is it feels quite alive. Even when you play lightly, you seem to get a fair amount of volume from the instrument, rather like some other instruments can be a bit more dynamic, where when you play lightly you get a much quieter sound. This seems to be more balanced dynamically across the range. Now, each to their own, but to be honest, I would prefer to use this because this means I end up using less compression in my recording. So a nice vibrant sounding instrument with a nice even volume is definitely going to reward me, and I'm going to feel way more comfortable with playing. As you can probably guess already, and I'm trying to hold it back a little bit, I really love this bass. It's absolutely fantastic. It feels super, super comfortable. It feels very, very familiar, even though I don't actually own a Spector of my own. If I was going to own a Spector, I think I would like this one, but I've not managed to talk the Spector distributors in the UK into letting me have this. I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, rounding up, this is a quick overview of the Spector Euro 4 LT. If it's left you wanting, then you know what to do. You need to go and try this out for yourself and actually get it in the room with an amp that you're familiar with, crank it up and listen to some of the sounds and play it in your own style. I will say though, if we're scoring out of 5, this bass gets the 5 from me. I hope that you've enjoyed checking out this bass as much as I have. I've really enjoyed having it over. Check out my written review in the magazine as well. And of course, I will catch you with another review again soon. Thanks for watching. I've been Dan Veal. You've been watching Bass Gear Magazine.